In Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 18, we see the beginning of the battles that have been set up for the last couple of chapters. Matsuri is now getting ready to attack Konohamaru after surprising no one. He messed up the plan that they had to use Matsuri's feelings against her. Ryu proving that he's more than just a battle-obsessed lunatic and actually using shinobi tactics against the shinobi themselves. Proving what Boruto and Amado warned everyone about is indeed coming true, which is the fact that the awakened Shinju are evolving very quickly, and we see Kawaki and Amado making a deal that could lead to more trouble for the shinobi world, such as possibly the birth of a new Otsutsuki. But let's start with the confrontation between Ryu and the shinobi. We see Ryu, as he's following Sarada and Mitsuki, using his iron sand and spreading it around the area as a means of detecting his surroundings, explaining that if Boruto is here, he will know his location. This is where we see that the shinobi, while they have been very cautious of their enemy, they still end up making the mistake of underestimating them. If they hadn't done that, then they would have picked up on Ryu's statement that he could sense the bloodlust from Yoda when he met her, which immediately should have made them pay closer attention to his actions, because we find out later on that not only did he spread his iron sand to help him detect Boruto, he also used the Puppet Master Jutsu to attach chakra strings to the shinobi because Ryu had sensed that they were possibly laying a trap for him. Now, another mistake that they made during this was when they pretended to not know why they were hunting Boruto. Specifically, it was to get the Thorn Soul bulb that's needed in order to free the people trapped in the trees. Because if you remember, Jura saw the whole fight between the Konoha shinobi and Hidari. He knows that they are aware of the Thorn Souls because Boruto himself knew about them. So it's likely that Jura informed them of that fact ahead of time, which means that the second they suggested to Ryu that they use the Thorn Soul as bait to attract Boruto, it's probably what made it clear in his mind that they were trying to trap him. What's ironic, however, is that they were the ones who actually fell for the trap first, and it happened in a way that shows you why, when you go on a mission, especially one that's as dangerous as the one that they are on currently, you never let your emotions take control of you. And Yodo proves that here, because the second she saw a way to save Shinki, she immediately jumped at the chance to do so, completely falling for Ryu's trap and forgetting that Ryu still had his iron sand in the area, so he could have still reacted in time to stop her from getting it, even if he hadn't taken measures ahead of time. If she hadn't lost control, she could have looked at the situation in front of her and surmised a better approach than the one that she just took. After this, we see Mitsuki basically realize again that you cannot underestimate these enemies, because they thought they had the upper hand the entire time and didn't even consider that they were the ones being played, which just goes to show what Boruto and Koji were trying to warn everyone about. If these Shinju are not dealt with quicker, they are possibly going to evolve to a point where they won't be able to do anything against them. We are already seeing them using shinobi tactics against their enemies. We already saw a little bit of that in the fight against Hidari, where he slowly adapted to the situation in front of him and constantly coming up with plans on the spot where, had one little thing gone wrong, he would have won and Sarada would not even be here right now. Next, we see Ryu controlling Sarada and using her to attack Yodo. However, right before Sarada could hit her, they're freed from his control by Areya using a technique he developed to use with Shinki in order to dispel the iron sand, and now ironically he has to actually use it to fight Shinki's clone in order to save him. Now let's switch to the confrontation between Kawaki and Amado, where Kawaki is essentially making it clear to Amado that the days of him being used are over. He tells Amado to raise his attack power to their absolute limits, otherwise he will kill him. Now, obviously, Kawaki can't kill him because he knows without Amado, he can't gain access to his full power. But this is enough to tell Amado that he can't afford to mess with Kawaki anymore because he needs him in order to revive his daughter, which we see him try to do afterwards, after he uses the shutdown code on him. Now, this is interesting because Amado just used it in front of both Kawaki and Sumire, and the way that she reacted told us that in the past 3 years, Amado quite likely didn't tell anyone other than Shikamaru about the shutdown code, which means that now other people could know about it, like Sarada or even Boruto, if they meet up with him again. Now, keep in mind, even if they do know about it, they still can't actually use it because Amado made sure that he's the only one who could use it, and he needs to actually see Kawaki in order for it to work. However, I do wonder what Sumire knowing about the shutdown code could lead to, because you don't specifically point that out and not do something with it in the future. After Kawaki wakes up, Amado lets him know that he will give him what he wants, but only after Kawaki does what he wanted him to do years ago, which is to plant a karma that contains the genetic information of his daughter Akebi. But Kawaki reminds him again that there is a chance that his daughter could become a new Otsutsuki, and as we saw with Code, Kawaki has a good reason to worry about this going wrong. Code used Otsutsuki powers in order to make changes to the Ten Tails, and look how that ended up. Code, a lot like Amado, thought he knew what he was doing, but like what Momoshiki told Boruto in part 1, humans for the most part are not capable of fully understanding and utilizing these Otsutsuki powers, and every time they try, it always ends badly. So Kawaki does actually have a good reason to worry about this possibly leading to the birth of a new Otsutsuki. Kawaki, however, turns it around and tells him that he'll only do it after he raises his attack power, and even telling Amado that if he is right and Akebi does turn into an Otsutsuki, then he'll just kill her like he plans to do with the others, which might be a mistake on his part because we saw in part 1 that Amado is willing to go to whatever lengths he needs to in order to bring back his child and to actually keep her alive. And he even tells Kawaki that he will stop him if he tries, which interestingly enough mirrors Kawaki's conversation with Naruto, where he told him that he will actually kill Boruto. Amado tries to take back control of the conversation by telling him that if he gives him what he wants and switches his power to offense, it will heavily increase the chances of him dying to the awakened Shinju because his defensive powers will be a lot lower. But Kawaki just responds with a statement that puts Amado off a little bit, which is that he just has to make him an even bigger monster than the awakened Shinju, and that after he takes care of Boruto, the Shinju, and Code will he actually revive his daughter, which if you remember, Kawaki said the exact same thing at the end of part 1 about releasing Naruto from the Daikokusen dimension, which is that he will only do it after he gets rid of whatever he deems to be a threat to Naruto, which may never happen because if you think about it, there will always be a threat to Naruto due to him just living in the shinobi world, just like how there might always be another enemy for Kawaki to get rid of before he revives Akebi. Last thing that we should talk about is Konohamaru, probably to the surprise of no one, has completely messed up the plan. During his conversation with Matsuri, after she tells him that she's starting to be more comfortable being around him, she asks him if she could call him Konohamaru-chan. And when he hears her say this, he gets flashbacks of Moegi, and Matsuri notices that something is wrong, and when she asks him if everything is okay, he has a chance to de-escalate the situation by telling her that everything is fine, and then continues on with the plan. Instead, however, he says the worst possible answer he could say at the time. He asks her not to call him that because he only allows one other person to call him that, which of course triggers her and gets her to start attacking him. So both parties fail to properly execute the plan. They had to take down the awakened Shinju by using shinobi tactics. And notice how in both cases, what ruined the plan were people acting on their emotions. Both shinobi letting their emotions get the better of them with a plan that requires you to use pure logic in order for it to work and to actually put your emotions to the side, because right now, achieving your goal no matter what is what's necessary, and you can't let anything get in the way of that, even your own emotions. So to conclude, the chapter overall I thought was good. Seeing the parallels in both situations with the plan completely backfiring, and in both cases because two people couldn't control their emotions the moment it mattered the most, and now we have to wait to see how these fights are going to conclude. Is someone actually going to die? Are they going to succeed in getting the Thorn Soul? We're going to have to wait until the next chapter in order to find out. Now, I want to hear your thoughts on the chapter. Let me know what they are in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed the video, guys, you know what to do. Make sure to leave a like, share the video out there, subscribe if you are new, make sure to ring the bell for notifications. And I hope to see you guys for my review of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 19. Bye for now.